What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be diving into the jump in event that is here in Arena. Talk about, is it an event that's worth it? And I do think this question can, vary depending on what kind of player you are for MTG Arena or MTG in general. With that being said, if you like the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, want to post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's just jump into it and let's talk about it. So first and foremost, jump in is a kind of like a rehash or a updated version of this jumpstart event that happened last year in MTG Arena. Jump in is an event that you take these packets that you are given that are filled with 20 cards with a variety of spells and creatures and lands, and you get a second packet that's also 20 cards, and you combine them together to form a deck. The game gives you a choice off the bat of 3 different cards that you can choose from, each having a different theme, and then it's giving you a complementary choice of a 3 packets that may synergize very well with that particular first choice you made. It is an event that you can play as many times as you want. You don't have to, like a draft or any of those other events, if you get X amount of losses, it doesn't really matter. It's all you really need is that one win to get your reward. Though I will say the win isn't anything in particular. You're not getting anything amazing. You're not getting gems. You're not getting currency. You're guaranteed at least one uncommon card. But as someone who's possibly newer to the game, you don't really have a lot of cards in your collection. So getting an uncommon card is definitely possibly worth it to you as a player. And there is a chance that this reward could also be a rare or a mythic. Now, I went ahead and I actually played 15 rounds of this, and I'll dive into that in just a second. But just kind of show you how the event works. I'll kind of pop open an event. I'll kind of show you the packets that I'm given. There are packets I haven't seen yet, so there's a possibility that in the first choice I'll get a packet that I may have not seen, and then we'll kind of go from there and kind of understand how it works as a whole. So we are up and we are seeing our packets that we are given a choice from. So the first one is being Celestial, and you can hover over it, you can kind of see what card it's kind of like representing here with Celestial. So the first one is looking like we're going to be Angels. The second one is Wizards, so you'd assume that the creatures in the deck will be Wizards, and they'll be playing around a lot of things that maybe either are Wizards or non-creature spells. So it's maybe a balance of spells and creatures. And the last one being the newness, which is Vampires, and it is actually a red and black deck, so it's a multicolored deck. So this is definitely kind of interesting. And depending on what interests you, you can always go ahead. Well, for this purpose, we'll choose Angels just because I don't think in my playing of this I got Angels as being one of my choices. And this is actually the tricky part here. As we got our second, combination, is what do we want to add? What do we want to do with what we're given? So we have Landfall here. You can hover over the deck. You kind of see what Landfall does. It's one of those mechanics that whenever a land enters battlefield and you control, you gain a life. And there's other cards in the deck that will probably have mechanics very similar or do other things when lands enter the battlefield. Doctor is a life gain deck. Our life gain creature that, Telerasa, whenever you gain life, you get to put a +1/+1 on her and scry 1. And the last one being Spirits, just a decent complementation that kind of goes along with, Angels in general, as some of the creatures have flying. There's cards that will help you draw. And Spirits are kind of like a decent value play, especially in a very limited format, as even when a creature dies, you can play the Disturb side and get it back on the battlefield, so it's like extra value in that sense. But I think for the purpose of this mechanic, we're going to choose Doctor. We're going to go with a Celestial Doctor, and we're going to kind of see what cards we are given once we hit the confirmed pick. So we get to open up our deck and kind of see what cards we are given. So as you can see, it's mostly on the white side with a little bit of splash of green for a few cards that are in the life gain deck from what it looks like, as the the corresponding colors are in the bottom right hand corner of the packets that we chose from. So we can look through and we kind of see what we got going on here. We have some pacifism, which is definitely great removal and very limited. You can kind of see we have decent amount of lifelink. We have things that will help us produce Angels. Rabbit Bite's like a fight spell. Bloodline Predator is like a changeling that can be any creature type. Honor Troll helps us gain that additional life point. Righteous Valkyrie is a pretty decent card. It's a good hit. We have Angels and we probably have Clerics in the deck, so we're going to definitely gain a lot of life in this deck. Celestial Unicorn. And Accomplished Alchemist is our other rare that we are given in our life game packet. So definitely overall, very strong packet, I think. This is definitely a great combination. I do think this is a deck that will play very well against our opponents. And like I said, this is kind of one of those things that you can experiment with, especially being a newer player. This is kind of seeing how certain packets interact with one another. So it's one of those things, as you play more of it, you'll kind of like see what works, what doesn't. I mean, regardless of it, you're getting all these cards added to your collection if you own them or you don't own them. So that's definitely a benefit as well. So here is a spreadsheet that pretty much has all the packets on the left-hand side and then the rounds that I played across the right. It's nothing super impressive. I didn't have any pictures or anything, but you can kind of see here that in all the rounds that there really wasn't any sort of, like duplication. Though I will say I did on purpose, even if I saw a packet that I may have already seen, I didn't go ahead and pick it. So I chose packets I haven't experimented with to play in certain things. And it wasn't until about the 15th round or 14th round is where I got a double of something I already got. As you guys hear, I multi-talented a second time, though the combination of what it was with powered up, which I didn't get until the 15th round. So it is definitely one of those things that, at a visual standpoint, it does have a lot of variety. It is something that is very good. It lets you learn certain mechanics. Like I said, I do think at the end of the day, this is probably geared more so towards that, inexperienced or newer player to the game who doesn't have a lot of cards, doesn't have a very big collection, doesn't really know the mechanics very, very well. And I do think this helps them kind of understand how deck building works, because you just can't throw, X amount of cards in a deck and hopefully that it synergizes very well. It helps the player understand what things, work together in tandem, as that makes your deck that much more stronger. And then I kind of referenced this website kind of for, a visual guide if you're kind of like trying to understand, what you could get in each packet. If you see certain packets having multiple rares, you're not given both of them. You're only given, it's a chance of getting one or the other. So you could choose Armory and you get the first, card here on the left, and then you choose this Armory a second time and you get Nahiri. So there is a little bit of variety to each of the packets. So you're not always guaranteed this particular card if you choose this packet, unless, as you can see here, it's the only card for that particular packet. So like I said, it's definitely interesting to kind of see the variety of cards that you could possibly have, how they interact with one another. It's definitely great and worth it for a newer player, as 1,000 gold isn't super hard to get, especially for a newer player. Guaranteeing 2 rares. I mean, it's a random chance of what packets you'll get to get those 2 rares, but 1,000 gold to get 2 rares, a bunch of uncommons and a bunch of commons to help build your collection up. With the chance of getting that uncommon or greater reward at the end is definitely very, very good. Definitely a good starting point if you're looking to figure out what to do next after doing the tutorials and lock in the dual decks, but are getting rocked by people in the queue, in the play queue or even the rank queue. With that being said, if you like the video, hit that like button. Definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, want to post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.